What's up, guys? Hello from Shanghai, China, and welcome back to another tennis talk here with Milan. Well, maybe the camera froze, maybe the connection was frozen, or maybe just maybe I was trying to find a way to finish the sentence. Anyways, I just hope that we can have a great conversation as always, and really encourage everybody to participate more. Throw in some questions, some topics. Send a request if you want to join this live video on Instagram, and also we have YouTube here. Let me know where are you at right now, and if you have some story to share about tennis, maybe you will trigger our tennis discussion. And if you have some ideas where we can go with this topic and with this conversation, that would be great. I was thinking a little bit, what could we talk about until we get some ideas, some questions. I think possibly preparations for some competitions or for some matches, how you can prepare both physically and mentally. It could be a very important match or a tournament, or it could be something that you just play at a local club. What could be the steps for you? But before that, I would like to just hear from you guys. How have you been? How was your day? Where are you at? Where are you from? I would like to acknowledge everybody who is participating, and yeah, let's have some fun. Let's have some tennis talk. Of course, behind us we have this incredible French Open and amazing finals, both on men's and women's side. I was really lucky to be able to watch some parts of it. It was really, really inspiring. Hello, UK. How's the weather there? How's everything in England? And we have a request. Let's see. Bruno wants to join. Let's see if he's gonna actually come to the conversation, and it's also good to interact a bit more. So I'm gonna accept the request. Yeah, everybody who's excited to join, you're welcome to send a request. Let's see. I believe before we had this live session sometime before, not the recent ones, and I had a few people join, and it was quite interesting to have a conversation, as long as we keep it, the topic within tennis, of course, and fitness, so that others can also benefit. Yeah. But anyways, YouTube, how's everybody there? Do we have any representatives? I see 4 people now. Yes, 4 people on YouTube. It's still alive. Come on, bring it on, guys. Let's see some comments there on Instagram. And do we have any questions so far? Nothing. Guys, you're very quiet tonight. As always, on Thursdays, I had this rough schedule in the afternoon. After the tennis session, I go directly to the swimming pool. And for me, honestly, by far, it's the most challenging workout and the most challenging session for many reasons. Oh my God, it's just I don't really want to go there. I don't enjoy almost anything. I go to this public swimming pool because it's kind of close, it's convenient, but then it's always crowded, and a lot of people in the lane when you swim. So it's not so smooth. You cannot really enjoy it and focus on your things. There's always things happening, but I think at the same time it's good to to survive in the chaos and still get it done, still get the most out of it. Anyways, all right, we have some questions, some comments. Let's start with Instagram. Were Sabalenka's comments post-final acceptable? Oh yeah, I heard. Yeah, I feel you. I know where you're coming from. I think she said something about that she didn't really lose match because the opponent played really well, but it's because of the very, very bad and tough conditions and because of her poor performance. Yeah, I agree. It's not the nicest thing to say, especially the part about the opponent not winning a match, like they didn't play great or they didn't, almost like they didn't deserve. It's because she kind of played bad. I think it's not the nicest thing to say. You could say that you were not happy the way you played, the way you handled the conditions, and that hurts. I would really, I could relate to that. I've been there. It's tough when you really don't play your best, but you should always acknowledge that your opponent handled the situation better. They played better than you that day, and that's it. And therefore they deserve it. So yeah, I agree. I guess she was really upset in that moment. I don't think anybody at this level they would really say that when you are then when they are fully present with their mind and they're composed. I think she was a bit thrown out of her like state or something like that. All right, Chris on YouTube. I have problems with my forehand. My backhand is okay, and I don't think about it. I have no confidence in myself. Do you have a few tips on how I can get this back? Greetings from Vienna. Thanks, Chris. It's difficult to say it's difficult to tell you any tips if you didn't address what is specifically the problem with the forehand, besides just not having confidence. And then on the other hand, you feel the backhand. I think sometimes this happens, and it's a good topic also to talk about this. You're never gonna have, or you're gonna have maybe once in a year. I remember clearly the thing our head coach at university in America when I played college tennis, when he said this, when he told us about expecting the perfect day, the perfect match. He said maybe once in a year, if you're lucky, two matches, but once in a year you can kind of have this perfect day where everything works out well, including forehand, backhand, serving, movement, the touch, and then even having a bit of luck. So most of the time, something will not feel right. And this also can happen with a specific shot. You can have forehand or backhand. I also have this. I have periods where I'm hitting like amazing forehands, and then something is off with backhand, and then 3 days later, my backhand is there, and then forehand is off. It also could be related to the change in the surface, change in the balls, environment. But if this happens for a longer time, if you're experiencing this for a while now, then it just means you need to a little bit check what is up with your forehand technique, make a video, and then compare it with some of your favorite players or your like what is your forehand role model. And then I'm not saying copy exactly each part, each element, but see where are the fundamentals maybe not matching. And how you're gonna know what are fundamentals? You can watch some of my videos. I'm kidding. You can see it in any of the instructional videos. Just check what are the main parts of the ground strokes. Oh, I have the feeling that I lean back with a forehand as I'm afraid of the ball. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, so it's the confidence level. Phew, okay. I had similar thing more on the back end, like a lack of confidence for like a while, some period when I was junior. It was quite challenging. So I understand. This is it's not a simple thing. It's not, there's no shortcut. I cannot tell you, okay, do this with the wrist, and then suddenly, whoa, it's there. It's a process, and I think you have to start with just really understanding where you could be making the biggest change. As you pointed out, it could be you're leaning back, so you're a little bit on the back foot because of that fear. You want to keep it safe, so you're kind of on the back foot. I think in the training sessions and stuff, just try to literally work on that. Just try to have a nice weight transfer forward, and don't be obsessed with making the shot in the court in the training. So try to just address this weight transfer as you pointed out. So that means you're aware of it. Weight transfer on the neutral ball, it's always better to fully transfer the weight, from the back foot forward. Open stance, closed stance, semi-open, it's always better to kind of have that full transfer. And I would say what helps with the forehand consistency, two things. One, make sure you have like a full body call, that you're really feeling that you're using the upper body, but also not just shoulders, but also the hips. Make sure your back hip is turned enough and that you're really engaging the body. So you want to avoid arming the shot. If you do too much of that, this is where the feeling maybe can get lost. And then what is the second thing I wanted to, yeah, the second thing is the wrist. So this can also help if you just pay attention to your wrist to make it, as I mentioned in a few videos already, to keep it relatively fixed. So when you start, right, you kind of want to keep it up with a non-dominant hand here. Oh my God, where's the Instagram here? It's a different screen direction here, right? So you want to keep it like tilted back. And if you can keep this kind of wrist throughout the swing, even down, and then even at the contact point, you want to have similar position, and you want to have stable at the stable position at the contact point, right? So these things. I hope this makes sense. Thanks for the question. Appreciate it. You see, we already have some kind of topic to cover, and this is great. And I hope this helps. So it's kind of win-win. You guys help us to continue and to roll, and then we address all these issues, and yeah, keep improving together. Okay, that was from YouTube. Let's go back to Instagram just for one question, and then I guess we'll just go with questions, guys. The topic, the idea I wanted to talk about this preparation for matches. Let's see, maybe in a different live or some other post I can do that. All right, Bruno, who actually declined the request, he sent a comment here. All right, it's very interesting. The video class you do and follow about the strokes in tennis, but for me, medium high level club, it's very difficult to find the right position with legs and body. Okay, and moreover, how to teach the correct position before the stroke. In few words, I would like more suggestions about footwork. All right, so I can tell you maybe two things here. Bruno, thanks for the questions, and I guess you wanted to talk about this in the video, but then you just changed your mind, or maybe some technical issue. Regardless, it doesn't matter. It's great. I appreciate your questions. Footwork, here are the two things I will give you, and then for everybody else, how we can improve it and what are the things to focus on. Number one, there is a difference in a forehand and the backhand in terms of preparation, and mostly it's related to the spacing. I think I addressed this a couple of times. I'm not sure some of you maybe heard it, but either way, I always like to emphasize it because it's kind of easy to remember, and it also makes sense. Forehand, you want to think more space. As simple as that. So whatever is your preparation, however you're approaching the ball, is it on the side? Is it in front? It's coming to your body? Is it right? So that especially this one, it's coming to your body. You want to either create that space or you want to leave that space. For example, if you're running towards the ball, if it's short ball, you're running, you want to make sure you don't get too close. So you want to be able to swing. It's always difficult for me here to demonstrate like a proper swings because I'm gonna smash the cameras, and it's a small place here. But maybe sometimes if I'm on the court, maybe I should do sometimes the lives on the court or somewhere outside. But anyways, forehand space, and you can you can assist yourself, help with non-dominant arm when you're ready and when you pull out. So this arm should stay straight, relatively straight, pulling out. That will kind of give you this radius of the space. And then, right, and then the racket goes away from you. And then, so you need more space on the forehand, right? Makes sense. You have one arm only on the racket, and then you're holding the bottom of the racket with it, right? So you want to kind of use that maximum distance because the further the ball there, and it's going to be more natural and you can generate more racket speed. Backhand, on the other hand, we have both arms engaged, right? Both hands on the racket, the handle. Therefore, on the backhand, you want less space. Makes sense. And there's another little difference on the backhand. You kind of want to hit it more on your side. Still, it's in front, roughly around the front leg line, but it's more like think less space and more on the side because you want this dominant elbow. As you're hitting, you want that elbow to be closer to your body. This is where you get the most control. So you think you want to get closer to the ball on the backhand, right? And then, of course, after you're going to extend fully. So then that elbow will go away from body here, right? So that's the first thing I wanted to mention, the spacing, the difference. And then the second thing, in general, the footwork, assuming that we have a good and timely split step and the coil, split step and the coil, then what happens after that? You want to move fast, quickly, right? Ideally, first with the big steps. Now it depends on the distance from the ball, but to cover a full court, you want to first make the bigger steps, and then as you approach the ball, you want to go small steps, right? And I like to make this analogy or to explain to players when we are discussing about footwork and preparation, and this is what I tell them. So here I also share with you guys. You want to do the hard work first, like in anything else, like also outside of tennis, it's always best do the hardest thing first, and then everything else will be easier. You're going to kind of sail after, right? It's going to be a smooth ride. So here the hard work means intense preparation, meaning the timely split step and very quick movement, the coil, the preparation step, so that when you get to the position as you estimate it, right, with more space on the forehand, less on the backhand, then you want to almost kind of in your mind get into this slow motion, like from quick movement wherever is the ball. You want to be so quick that you have the luxury to kind of stop and have a full balance. And you at first you're almost in a slow motion because you're so balanced, and then acceleration, same on the back, and then hop, slow motion, and therefore I said hard work first, and then you enjoy this luxury of having time to stop and to have a full balance, and then you just enjoy the smooth shot. I hope that helps, Bruno. And let's move on so I can answer as many questions as possible in this short time. I think we're gonna go for like 10 more minutes. Otherwise, I'm gonna literally pass out. It's always the case. Like I just had a few bites and I still have. Let me show you. This is not a paid commercial. This is my dinner. Can you see it? Yeah, yeah. The salmon salad. Good. All right. Let's move on. Whoa, we have a few questions and comments on YouTube. So I'm gonna always go YouTube, Instagram. Okay, so it's kind of like balanced. Ronan Weingarten. Sorry, I don't know. I'm guessing it's German, from Germany. I have two boys, 11 and 13, who play competitive tennis. How can they improve their mental game during a match? One of them has been losing a lot lately and it's been attributed to lack of focus. And then he goes on and says, when they're in the zone, it seems they are unstoppable, how they can improve on this mental focus. Appreciate that. Thank you for the comment and the question. I think it's going to be very useful for everybody else. How to get in the zone, right? I guess that's the question, and how to improve in general the mental game during the match. It's a great topic, and it's definitely something that it should be talked about more, and players should pay attention more. Usually the players and coaches, we all like emphasize and we train and we work on forehands and backhands and movement and serves, and then this is just sometimes touched upon, and sometimes you a little bit have a discussion. I believe you should work much more on this side of the game. So it's the mentality, it's getting in the zone. There's so many ways and so many things or little tricks that could help. It doesn't mean they will always guarantee the zone. I mean, if so, then everybody will always be in the zone. I would say I would say the first thing that comes to our mind is having those routines, having these little rituals on court that at least in some way put you in a familiar state, that you know you're gonna now perform. Now it's a time for you to get locked in. And if you maintain these rituals and routines during every single session, so this is important when you're training, you have a practice match or even just training session, like hitting balls or baskets, you want to somehow keep these rituals on the court. Every now and then, get the towel, use the this few moments to kind of fix the strings on the rackets, do something, maybe check your shoelaces, have some rituals that you can repeat regularly. The way this works with the brain, it kind of puts us in that familiar state, and possibly when you train, you're playing well, you're more loose, and you're performing on a highest level, hopefully, right? And then in the match, if you do more of those rituals, more of those routines, it could kind of bring you back, and then you will be also more present, focused in that moment on like, okay, now it's time, let me get my towel, and then you kind of get your mind a little bit distracted from, okay, what's currently happening. It's a huge match, so you kind of do the little ritual, and it's a more familiar state. Second thing, definitely work on the breathing. So actually, during these rituals, during these um, routines and these little breaks, as you are getting in that familiar state, you can and you should also work on the breathing, like a very, how to say, carefully tailored or customized way of breathing, whatever suits you. And I even encourage you to even count the seconds. So the age is 11 and 13. It really depends on their like the rhythm they can have, that they can really like take a deep breath and then inhale and exhale. You should always kind of have the same amount of time for every inhale. Usually the inhale should be a little bit shorter. So inhale for a few seconds. Let's say you say 3 seconds or 4 seconds. So it's like as you're inhaling, you're counting. Like inside you counted three, and then exhale should be double time. So if it's three, exhale is six, and then again inhale, and then literally all you do in those moments is counting those seconds and breathing. In that way your brain kind of just calms down, and you get in this nirvana. Everything is kind of calm, and then it's like you can say it's calm before the storm. So that can really help. That's the second thing, breathing. The first thing is rituals, and I can add the third thing for this answer. I can make a list of 20 things, but can be the third thing can be. I just had it in my mind, and it just you know lost the train of thoughts. Not the tactics. It could be tactics. It could be focus on the footwork. push yourself with feet, like doing more, doing things that you can control. So focusing more on the control. Okay, I guess I'll give you four then. So now I remember this. But this is good. Focus on the things that you can really control in that moment, which means whether you're gonna hit forehand winner or not, it's not really under your control. It's something else. What you can really control is the way you move, the way you prepare, the way you swing, the way you set up. So you can always push yourself to move as best as you can. This usually helps with a level of performance because you cannot control, are you gonna hit that perfect drop shot? Are you gonna hit that corner? You can control, your choices, the shot selection, so also can be smart on that, but the most control you have from everything physically is the way you move. So that's another thing. And then finally is the attitude or the mindset of, I don't want to say not caring at all, but telling yourself that it doesn't really matter. It matters, but it's not that big of a deal. It's not end of the world if I lose this point or this game or even this match. It's not the end of the world. It doesn't mean that you want to play careless and then you don't care about shots and you just smash the balls. It means that you want to play your smart tennis, your aggressive style, whatever. You want to go for your shots which are supposed to be hit. So like hit what you can hit, make what you can make. So those are two different types of shots. But in general, right, the whole mindset should be, it doesn't really matter. It's not the battle for life and death, right? After the match, you're gonna be fine regardless. Of course, everybody likes to win, and the feeling, the high after the winning, it's so good. And then the pain of losing, it's so of course then you kind of have this big difference. I was guilty of that. I usually thought about, I would have this thought during the match, oh, if I lose, it's gonna be depressing for 2 days, and if I win, oh my god. So and then, but that's so wrong. Like you should not think like that. So we need to make this equal as possible. Of course, it cannot be equal, but at least reduce that difference. If this is the high, if this is the winning feeling and the losing feeling, we need to kind of decrease that gap so that it's not that big of a difference, so that it's going to be, oh, okay, it's still a great match. I'm still going to do my best and it's still going to count. It's at the end, it's just a result. So it doesn't really matter. And that should kind of release some of the pressure. Okay. I hope that helps, Ronan. I don't know if you're still there, but I guess it could also bring some value to other people here. So let's go for the Instagram next. I maybe skip some questions. All right, here. Why does my serve go very long outside the box? Gabo Fort. That problem that you have is actually a good problem. It's much better than hitting the net. Okay, so we always say that hitting long shots, missing long, these kind of mistakes are pro mistakes. So you already kind of solved the first obstacle, which is hitting over the net, which is great. So now the reasons why it's sailing all the way across, there are a few reasons possible. The first thing that I would say always is that possibly lack of the rotation. If the serve is flat, it's easy to miss long, right? So you want to make sure you have enough of the slice or the kick. Either way, you want to have rotation on the ball. You want to have less flat, which means if you're hitting flat, that means you're opening the racket face too early, or you don't even have the pronation. So make sure, check your videos if you are opening the racket as you coming up, right? As you coming up, are you opening the racket face immediately and hitting like this? If yes, there we go. That's the problem because you're hitting flat. So you want to go up with the edge and then you want to don't break the ceiling, the lights here. It was so close. So you want to go with the edge and then you pronate here. So check the video, right? It's gonna help. And but actually, there's another possibility. Even if you are going up here like this with the edge, which is correct, you might be opening too early and then hitting flat. So check that. And then the other possibility for hitting long, even though like maybe you have rotation, is still hitting long. It's about the contact point and maybe the height of the contact. If you are like just coming up, or you are in the highest point and then hitting, so you want to check where is your body, where is your arm related to the toss as you're hitting the ball. How to explain this? Mm, right? And what is the angle of the racket? Are you like obviously like sending the ball up, so it's like you're hitting upwards? But again, this is a good thing. So you have a good potential there to build that serve. So I think you should just check the video from different angles and compare with some correct serves, and it should be easy to spot the difference, right? But I just want to be clear with the second part that I said, which is my point was like maybe you are hitting the ball as you are just leaving the ground and you're kind of hitting up, instead of you should go up to the highest point to hit the ball, right? So it's not like you also don't want to go up to the highest point and then hit on the way down. That's also not good. That's probably going to end up in the net. You want to hit it right at the peak of your jump and of your extension of the arm. All right, but appreciate it. Thanks for that specific question. What else? Okay, now we go. Wow, the YouTube is waking up. Thank you, guys. Yeah. Okay, Ronan replied. You mean don't be judgmental of yourself. Yeah. Yeah, you can say that as well. It's a good point. So it doesn't matter, and it's totally normal. It's normal to miss and to lose a match. Everybody loses. You can just talk to them about this. Just look at the final. Sinner was 1 point away, and then he lost, and he's number one in the world. It's part of the game. Okay, so the next question from YouTube. Boozy, B-Man, Boozy. Having issues with the forehand. I'm seeing videos about supinating the forearm on the swing forward where palm is up. Can you elaborate on how to do this, because my forehand feels disconnected? Wow, supinating forearm swing. I guess you're talking about the finish, right? Supinating the forearm on the swing forward. I guess supination here, right? It's the opposite of pronation, I guess. I heard this term, I didn't really use it much, but I guess it's there. I would recommend you don't worry about these terms, but rather just visually understand what's happening there and what you should be focusing on. I would say, you say your forehand feels disconnected. Make sure you're feeling that you are engaging the full body, like even from before that, swinging forward, like the coil, and then the turn, that the hips are active, right? And then again, wrist, you should be relaxed, right? But make sure you're not too wristy. Now at the contact point, there will be obviously some movement of the wrist, but it's not going to be in a very, how to say, um, extreme manner. It's going to be very subtle, and it's more going to be about the supination. Okay, so we learned the term. So it's the opposite of pronation. And how to help you with this? It's so tough with words. I'm always like, I like to show it more, and then I like to record a video and analyze your video, and then see the difference. How to explain this? I like to explain this when you swing outwards, right? And then as you're hitting the ball, I say like you kind of want to think you stop the elbow there. You're not literally stopping it, but you want to think you stop it, and then you just let this part kind of naturally come up here, and then you point with the elbow where you want to play. You see? Almost broke. There's a light here. So, bam, and then here. And it's not much wrist, it's just okay. So, here's the thing, the way you want to generate the topspin, all right, is not by this is a common mistake when you hit that you kind of start lifting. You lift the whole arm, like you're lifting your forearm, upper arm, right? Lifting the upper arm. Where you don't want to do it, you want to stop this and you just want to do this part. Okay, and you also want to check where is your contact point. This could be the issue. If your contact point is off, many problems occur. Make sure it's away from you, as we talked about it earlier, space away from you, slightly in front. I would even argue that you can try to stay like further from the ball. Even if you're like super far, it's better to be far on the forehand than close. So check that. But at the same time, you want to engage full body, making sure. Oh, another thing. Oh my God, it's all kind of connected. Making sure you're not overturning, you're not moving your head as you hit, because that can feel also a bit disconnected. And arms, you want to keep them together. You disconnect arms just as you swing, but then you still kind of want to stay here. You don't want to open too much this way. I hope that helps. It's difficult to explain some of these things with words, but I hope that helped. All right, so now we go to Instagram. All right, from Don Kunjani. Do you think a 5'6" can make it pro in this new generation of tennis? Yes, even though I don't know how tall is that. If somebody can translate that to meters, I'm not sure. Like I don't have a sense of 5'6". I guess not too tall, but why should there be any how to say any problems? I guess you're thinking serving and stuff. I don't think there is. Uh, there's nothing is impossible. So I'm sure, depending on the age and if they're in the right programs, why not? Of course, it's possible. John, when playing a slow ball, do you think about keeping the ball as long as possible in the racket? I'm having difficulties putting power and control when the pace is low. Wow, I've never been asked this kind of question, but I can totally understand where it's coming from. It kind of makes sense, right? I think in general, regardless of the speed of the ball, you want to kind of think longer contact. You want to think longer contact. So when you're hitting the ball, right? There's one ball there, and then you just move. But you want to think there's one ball, there's another ball, and there's maybe three balls that you want to go through all of those three before your racket will kind of move more across. So you do want to go through that ball regardless of the speed. That was a good point. Now, if it's a slow ball, you still, yeah, you want to go through the ball. I would argue you just want to accelerate that racket. You want to make sure you're not pushing the ball, and you want to be careful though. What's happening with the ball? It's slow ball, but is it on the way down, right? So if it was a higher ball, it bounced, it got to the peak, and then again it starts coming down. You have to make sure that you have a lot of topspin, a lot of this the swing from low to high, right? You want to match that. Whereas the slow ball can also be bounce, and then it can be on the rise, and then you can hit it more flat. You can hit it more flat, but again, you want to make sure you go through the ball. So it depends if it's on the rise or it's on the way down. Okay, hope that helps. Here we have a question. Another question. Okay, we are at 40 minutes. Okay, guys, let's wrap it up. Let me just see this. This sounds interesting. I'm struggling with the ball trajectory. The ball trajectory is easy. Go high and long. High and long. Sometimes I try to hit tilt the racket head more to make the trajectory flatter and it go in the net. Mm. So I guess you also have the problem of hitting the ball long, right? You said like it's go high and long, and then you try to kind of close it, and then you hit the only thing comes to mind is like not enough topspin and racket speed. Maybe the grip. You want to check your grip if it's too open. I don't know which shot is it, forehand or backhand. You don't mention, but make sure that the racket face is more closed as you swing, and then you have. You don't want to get too close on the contact point, right? It's totally fine to be like square, but before that you want to have close racket fit on both sides, close and then boom square, and you want to really make sure that you have spin. So you do want to send the ball up, but because of the top spin, it should come down. All right, that's good. Let's just check question. I think you're using a more extreme grip on a forehand. Would there be disadvantages? Depends. What do you mean by extreme grip? I'm always okay with semi-western. That would be the recommendation. Semi-western, I would not suggest that. It's quite extreme. Anything that's extreme, it becomes much harder to control, especially on more difficult shots and difficult or different balls, right? Wow. Okay. Should I, from Gary? I just want to go quickly through comments. In the beginning, I was complaining. Come on, guys, let's engage. And now I'm like struggling to, to go through all the comments. Just give me a second. Wow. I do enjoy it. Don't want to have a misunderstanding. I do enjoy it. It's just like, when you're tired, it's hard. Gary, should I abandon my kick serve in a match when its first introduction in a match is met with an instant forehand winner by my opponent? My kick serve has been a work in progress for years. I think what you're asking is, if this thing happens, you try something and they just respond with a huge winner, or you just lose the point easily, should you just forget about it? Of course not. It's just one point. And obviously if they hit the forehand, you gotta find a way how to disguise it more, how to mix it up, and how to find that backhand of them. And then I would, what I would do in that case? I would play with their, like, I would do mind games. I guess the kick serve, maybe it went to their forehand or the middle, or even the backhand, they went around it. I would do this a few times. I would try to kick to their backhand, kick back, kick back. If they go around, they smash the forehand, they win, good, it's fine. I do it again. And then I would start mixing. I would do the same toss and I would just kick it to their forehand. They would absolutely be shocked the first time. And then after that, let's see what they would do, because then they would realize, okay, he can hit the different corners, and I'm not sure anymore. So you will start playing with them, assuming that you can hit different corners. As you say, it's a progress in years, but definitely don't just let it go. You should still use that. The more variation you have on your serve, the better. Don't just eliminate it and then just hit like flat or slices. You want to have variations. All right. That's it there. Wilson shift or pure error? I don't know about the pure, so I'd say Wilson. Louis, geez. I currently have a narrow platform serve stance. A narrow platform serve stance, like a Gael Monfils, I guess. But I think moving to a pinpoint would help my consistent rhythm. What do you think? Yes, I always suggest, if somebody is in between or they're thinking to change from platform to pinpoint, always yes, just do it. And especially you have this feeling, right? And like what you said, I think moving a pinpoint. Yeah, so try it. I always like that more. There is a more flow. You're kind of more engaged in it, and then you can even like continue with serve and volley easier. That's always I encourage to do that. Yes, with my grip changes. Practice. The grip changes are difficult. I'm not sure what you mean exactly, forehand to backhand, or just experimenting with the grip on the forehand. This is kind of individual. You gotta try different things as a player. Can you expand my serve? I don't understand this. Expand my serve. Service tennis. Okay. Somebody not very clear. All right, let's just check the last two on YouTube. Wow, 12 people. YouTube. Let's go. This is maybe the record. All right, so that's why I gotta read. What did you guys write here? Could you have more video with tennis movement and legs work? Okay, noted. I'm gonna just take a screenshot there, and I will try to do some in the future. Tennis movement and legs work. All right, great. So you see, guys, you give me some idea, and like soon enough, you're gonna probably see the video. Just want to have different topics covered, and especially if you show me that you lack of some kind of guidance or knowledge, I would be happy to share that because I'm making videos anyways, so it's better if you also give me some ideas. Who's your favorite player? Ah, that's so tough. That's tough. Oliver, don't do that to me. I like to watch a few players. I cannot say I have a favorite one. I don't have a favorite. Mm, tough to say. But all these top guys are amazing to watch. But I do have to say it's a bit different. It's a bit different feel when I watch now Alcaraz, Sinner, some of these new guys, even the guys from like the previous era, or those who just who were retiring. All of them, it's always a bit different compared to when I watch Novak Djokovic, because of the connection we had, and the trainings we had. It's a bit different, right? It's always there's always some emotion involved, and I'm more like personally in it, and I don't mind staying up. Whereas if it's other matches, I would probably not stay up. I would not watch. It's more because of that, and of course I admire that, the level and the mentality there, and I always observe the reactions, the situations, and how they uh, manage the pressure, and it's just incredible. It's fascinating. Of course, the final at the French Open was one of the best things I ever watched. One of the best things, one of the best matches. So that was incredible to see. Definitely, these two guys among the youngsters are the most exciting to watch because of their power, and it's just unreal. With Alcaraz, especially, it's also the creativity, playing very very like different shots, and Sinner, the power, the effortless like striking from the baseline, also great serve, and totally different characters. Yeah. But let me read one of the more comments here. Was referring to when you pull a racket forward, like you see with Sinner, where elbow is leading. Elbow is leading the swing forward, and palm is up, not the finish after contact. Okay, I see it. Yeah, I guess I just explained something else, but I think I hope it was also useful. That's an interesting thought. So you're talking about when you just pull, and then elbows. And I cannot fit in the screen. You're saying as a pull, like the palm is up. That's crazy. But the palm has to be up. It's because of the bit more close grip, right? Yeah. In my case, it cannot be open. Palm is up. Yeah, I mean open. If you have a more open grip, there's no way you cannot hit like that. So you have to have more extreme, which I think Sinner is like semi. Yeah, with semi it can happen. Yeah, I saw it's I understand. Yeah, you're right. So it's more about the racket face, right? I think the racket face is still gonna be closed because of the grip, right? So the palm is open, but the racket face is closed. So yeah, that's it. All right, guys, it's been 50 minutes, way beyond. We went way beyond. I wanted to do like 20, 30 minutes. Oh, Anthony, very long comment. I hope not too many left. Okay, let me just read. Okay, Anthony's the last one. All right. How do I overcome tennis elbow? It's been there for months. I was working on new technique on the one-handed backhand for several lessons, and since then. All right. So let me address this. One-handed backhand. That means you were doing some movement repetitively, which is usually exactly it's opposite from this. All right. This is my experience and what I've learned. I had a problem with the golfer's elbow, and golfer's elbow is inside here. Tennis elbow is on the outside. But I learned about both because I did a lot of research and I wanted to take care of my problem. So first thing, understanding why this happens, why with this problems happen. I think that this can help everybody else also to be aware of it. If you do a certain movement of the arm for too much, for me this happened when I added the weight, extra weight, very inexperienced with this. I was thinking, oh, I just put a bit lead here and here, and it's going to make it a bit heavier swing without any knowledge. And I think I added like 20 grams. It's like insane. Like, obviously, you cannot add so much on the racket head only, which means the swing weight changes so much. Anyways, I was just, thinking, yeah, with this, I'm going to have much heavier shots. And then my serve is going to become like crazy. And then I did that, and then I did my serve training. But that day, I went for 1.5 hours, I remember. And that was in maybe like 6 years ago, 7 years ago, I don't know. So it was not when I was training professionally. It was during my like coaching career, but I still sometimes did the serve and stuff. So I was not so in a shape in terms of the shoulder and the serve endurance, right? So 1.5 hours and with the weight. And what I did is always the pronation, right? So I was doing this, right? And from that movement with a very heavy racket, I started having pain here. So because this one is active here, right? And then what I had to do to kind of as a recovery, as a rehab, so completely opposite from, so this is the pronation. So basically I had to do supination, right? So everything you do, you want to do contrary to that, to as a recovery, as a rehab. And there is also this flex bar. It's called TerraBand. No, TerraBand flex bar. It's like a rubber thing with some like ridges, how to call this, and then you twist it. So there's a different way you hold it. You twist. I made a video on YouTube, so you can check that out. But I made it for golfer's elbow. Golfer's elbow. I'm sure you can find other videos for tennis elbow. So my point is like you probably did a lot of opposite way, right? So let me see. Yeah, I think you were doing the opposite from pronation, which is supination. Is it? It's weird. Yeah. You were doing opposite, right? And this is the supination, right? Pronation and supin. Oh no, I'm a little bit lost now. Damn it. Whatever is opposite of pronation, you were doing that, right? And a lot of times doing that causes this. So you now basically have to do more of opposite rotation. But check the video, and this flex bar is going to help you. I was doing this like 3 times per day for like few minutes, and it really did work. There's a few things. You hold it, and you hold this, and then you like this, and you come in front. I forgot. Here, come here, and then you let some like to twist your forearm, and then you do some exercise like that. Anyways, now I definitely cannot like really tell exactly, but you should check some videos about that. Hope that helps. The good thing is that you can solve it and you can take care of it just with these exercises for sure. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks everybody for joining. Recommend a specific. I said it's going to be the last one for Anthony, but somebody commented on YouTube. Let me just read it. A specific racket type to improve the serve. Any specific rackets which help better pronation or neutralize pan shape by swing weight, in particular for intermediates. Honestly, I don't think it matters. It's not about the racket. I think you have to really work on the movement on the racket and on the correct mechanics with a lot of shadow swings, video analysis, recording, repetition. Don't try to go for some shortcuts, guys. There is no shortcuts. We gotta, work hard and then fix the problems, like the fundamental parts of it, and then you can blast some serves. That's it. I use actually here. It's in China. They only produce, believe it or not, at least from Wilson, the number 2. Even if I want it, I cannot get the number 3. So it's all number 2. And then sometimes I need to add another grip, which is definitely still too thin. I need a bigger one. Brand, I use Wilson. Yeah, Wilson, usually Blade, or I have the Clash. And yeah, those are my favorites. That's it, guys. Thank you so much. I hope this was useful. It was a long talk, but thank you for all the questions and the topics. And I'm really happy if this helps to at least 1 or 2 people out there. And it's so nice to have everybody join here. Again, we are doing this regularly on Thursdays. I try to do it every week at this time. So if you didn't have a chance now, you can do it next week, same time. And yeah, feel free to recommend or suggest topics, questions. That's it. Write down your problems, your issues, and the next time you can share here and we can solve them. Have a great day, have a great night, and yeah, let's keep enjoying this game and improving together. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.